Right. So here's the deal. In society today in the West, you have a lot of teenagers. I mean, it's natural as human beings when you reach that point in life whereby you're seeking out your significant other. You're realizing that you need that other half of you. You need that other significant other. To share your joys, to share your dreams, your happiness, and everything. To have an intimate moment, a relationship, whatever the case may be. And so, from that point on, you start looking out. Psychologically speaking, you're searching for your vibe, your compatibility. Now, you take that mentality and looking at the West, you have a lot of dating, a lot of one night stands, sleepovers, and whatnot, trying to have fun. Oh my God, I'm single, but you don't mind, getting laid or whatever the case is. And this goes on until that person is in their late 20s to 30s, even 40s, and they're still not married. Because then again, the concept of marriage in the West is so confusing, because you have to go to court, deal with paperwork, have to pay a lot of money and alimony and all this other stuff. So people be like, you know what, rather not get married, just stay boyfriend and girlfriend, because you don't get to involve the government or have to pay or fill papers and stuff like that. Now, put that aside. Looking at it from an Islamic perspective, in Islam, we're told to marry as early as possible. Now, obviously, Western people or Western mentality will not look at it that way. But in Islam, the moment you reach puberty, you are a woman, you are a man, whether you are 15 years old or 14 in regards to a woman. Yes, you are an adult and you are tried as such, even though society speaking, you're still kind of a kid for some reason. But look at in the West, you have a lot of teenagers, say 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, who act up. They want the significant other, they want to have a boyfriend, they want to share that with that best friend or whatever. Now, naturally speaking, that best friend, by nature, humankind, is supposed to be your other, So Islam just takes that and put in a really good perspective manner to say, you know what, instead of a boyfriend, why don't you make that person your husband or your wife, Be committed to them. And hey, if you are serious, stick together. So that's what Islam brings to the table. It doesn't want you to play around and, end up having diseases that you didn't want to have in the first place. And it's because of infidelity that you have a lot of sexual transmitted diseases. You have multiple partners. You date that girl, you date this girl, you date that guy, you date this guy, you get laid to that girl and this guy. And I mean, obviously you'll end up having all these random diseases like cramps, mumps, whatever, So that is the concept of marriage in Islam, especially when it comes to young people. We're told to marry young because of that, so that you don't necessarily have to be active, or rather play around, with the heart or with emotions. The idea is that if you're serious about someone, marry them, but obviously get to know them, what are their principles and everything, if they're a good person. Because if they're not, if you end up having a toxic relationship, then that is something completely different. But then again, some people like that kind of thing. In general, marriage in Islam is so simple. Like, you don't necessarily have to go to federal court or whatever. It is just about following the Sharia, following the law of Islam, and having to connect the two in matrimony. So you don't have to sign these alimony or whatever, because number one is that the young woman will be taken care of by the husband regardless. And yeah, and if she's working, she gets to keep her own money at the end of the day. So it's a win-win situation for the woman most of the time, at most, not the man. So try to take it from that perspective. Not sleeping with people, if you are at the age of maturity, you think you want to be married or you want to marry, go for it. You know, it like it it hinders you or it saves you from a lot of breakups, a lot of test outs and tryouts, and a lot of sexually transmitted diseases, because you're with that person and you aren't going around with every other person and testing things out. I mean, let's face it, it's the same thing. It's just a matter of, as they say, knowing how to use it or not. And if you're a couple who don't understand the affairs of the bedroom, you can just search it up. Hey honey, what do you like? Hey honey, what do you like? If you've got like something, you explore, you find your way. But it's not to say, oh no, he's not good at this or she's not good at that. Teach him. What do you like? It's that simple. It has nothing to do with, oh my god, you're not experienced, I don't want you. No. Look at the character first and foremost. Look at the personality. Because I kid you not, if to a certain point, I will say this, personality and character actually overcomes when it comes to intimacy. It overdoes that. Like, there are times where you're like, okay, I'm really tired of that. Let's just connect through emotion. Let's connect through the intellect. Let's connect through personality. I like your personality, and that's it. And that is how it's supposed to be. It's not always about, rumbling in the bed. It's not always about that. Sometimes you just want to spend that time and, joke around, talk about hadith or talk about the news or some experience or a story you read in a book. That's simple. That's it. Yeah, if you liked my explanation or my talk, share, subscribe, share, and hey, if you have any questions or I don't know, just ask, I guess. Yeah.